Now that we're over halfway into 2025, I've had some time to catch up on the 2024 games I wanted to play, and these are my top 10. Number 10, Orapa Mine. This is a Playte game for 2 to 5 players and plays in roughly 20 to 30 minutes. It is a right game, it is an and-right game, and it is a deduction game. One player represents the presenter, sets a grid of tangram-like pieces on a secret board, and other players are trying to identify the location of those tangram pieces by firing lasers down the X and Y axis to see how the light refracts and bounces out in different colors. When I was taught the game, I sat there thinking, there's no chance that we're going to be able to find these pieces. But I was surprised and shocked at how fast we were able to deduce where they are. It really is pretty clever. It works well. I had a hard time wrapping my head around it when it was described to me. But once I saw it in action, it was like, wow, yeah, they're onto something here. Very cool. Pros: small and packable, short and thinky filler game, and unique gameplay. My number 9 is Windmill Valley. It is a 1 to 4 player game from board and dice and takes about 45 to 90 minutes to play. Like any Euro game, the theme is there, but it is not embedded in the experience. And that's okay. The theme's very unique. It tends to evoke the Dutch Bloemen route, which is a scenic drive through the countryside in the Netherlands where you can see tons and tons of rows of tulip and daffodil farms, all arranged by color, and of course, windmills. Like many other Euro games, this one offers tons of opportunities to upgrade and change actions as you go through and really specialize and diversify from your common starting point with all players. There's a ton of mechanical intricacies here. It is a very mechanical game, very technical game. It is a Euro game, and there's a lot to love for players who are into that sort of thing. The glue that holds it all together is this really cool action selection system that involves 2 different size gears. The gears have different actions around them in different wedges, and when you move one of them, because the other one is smaller, they're going to rotate at different rates. So you can have different combinations almost every time you do it. When you're done moving, the board will point to 2 possible actions, and those are your choices for the turn. Of course, you can slot in wedges on top of them to upgrade or change those actions. Some of those wedges allow you to do both things on your turn. It's fun, it's thinky, it's dense, it's meaty. It's a big game. Pros: lots of upgrading, cool rondel mechanism, meaty and challenging. My number 8 game is Skyrise from Roxley. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes between 30 to 90 minutes. This is a re-implementation of 2008's game Metropolis by Sebastian Pouchon, done to an incredibly lavish extent. There's something like 50 uniquely sculpted skyscraper minis and a 3-dimensional board with little to no board gaming function. In Skyrise, players vie to control different regions of the map by competing in a unique but concise bidding process. A bid begins when a player places a numbered tower in a space on the board that they wish to control. Play passes around the table with players placing higher numbered towers in adjacent spaces until they no longer have a higher tower to place or all players have passed. Players compete for control of regions and aim to fulfill the conditions of secret objective cards in this quick and interactive game. The game moves quickly, is very clever. It keeps players engaged even when they're not playing because the bids move so fast that it's just circling the table, and even when you dropped out, you still care about the results of that bid. There's a really cool tactile element to this, even with the retail version of the game, as the plastic minis are swapped out for wooden minis, but in any case, it's fun to just slam down those big ones and say, I'm gonna finish this bid. Really cool game, something I've never seen before, Skyrise. Highly interactive, great production, and a quick teach. My number 7, Forges of Ravenshire from BA Games. This is a 1 to 4 player game that takes about 50 to 100 minutes. In Forges of Ravenshire, players compete to become the new Forge Master of the legendary town of Ravenshire, a town known for its production of magical armor and weaponry. Mechanically, this is a dice placement game in which you place a die on the board, take its action, remove a different die from another space, and take its action. Actions are determined by the dice value, the numerical value on the die. When you return the die to your player board at the end of your action, you're going to fire a guild based on its color. These are upgradable. You can slot pieces in to change the actions that they're going to take when you fire the guild and improve the actions that are printed on the board. It's relatively easy to learn, decently short to play, and thematically pretty immersive. Pros: very thematic Euro game, production and art are A+. My number 6, Nova Roma. Nova Roma is a game for 1 to 4 players from Half a Kingdom Games, most recently published by Queen Games. The year is 324 AD, and the Emperor Constantine aims to establish a new Roman capital in the town of Byzantium. Historically, this took 6 years, but it should take you about an hour and a half with 1 to 4 players. This game involves a central action selection mechanism on a grid in which placing a worker activates the action in that column and the action in that row. Those actions correspond to mini-games around the board, similar to games like Trajan and Merv, where there's an interactive grid where you're competing for space and then working on different Euro game mechanics on the outside of that grid. This one is very similar. There's set collection, there's area control, there's tracks. I love the action selection grid. It's interactive because of it, and the mini games around the board allow for different experiences in repeat plays. My number 5 is Let's Go to Japan from AEG Games. This is a 1 to 5 player game and takes 45 to 60 minutes. In Let's Go to Japan, players draft cards representing different activities on a 6-day trip to Japan. They place them into one of the 6 days on the calendar and focus on one featured activity during each day. Those featured activities increase scoring potential by rewarding you for collecting certain tags or setting up cards in certain sequences as the days play out chronologically from left to right. At the end of the game, players play out their trips and earn points based on the synergies of their cards. Players must be careful to consider their energy level throughout the trip, as well as how much time is spent in Kyoto and Tokyo, because going back and forth too much would require extra time spent on the train and detract from the overall experience of the trip. That means less points. The game shows off some excellent artwork, as well as a theme that is novel to hardcore gamers and approachable to new gamers. It's got a great theme, it's easy to learn and play, but still has plenty of depth. Number 4, The Gang from Kosmos. This is the 3 to 6 player cooperative Texas Hold'em game. It is short, 20 minutes or so, but because it's short, I often find myself playing this for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, trying and trying again to win. The idea of the game is that you're trying to play through a round of Texas Hold'em and identify the hierarchy of everyone's hands without telling each other what's in them. The only way you can communicate is by drafting chips showing the relative value of your hand, or so you think. You do this at multiple points in the round to show the progress of your hand throughout the round, but the only one that matters is the very last chip you draft. If that chip falls in the right order, depending on the relative power of all of your hands, it's a success and a win for the team. In both cases, there's some kind of card to flip over that will either make your next round easier or harder depending on your success or failure. If your group involves seasoned poker veterans, they're going to have a good time with this. If your group involves players that have never played poker before, it's okay too. There's a really handy reference card that shows the relative strength of each hand. And even though it would probably be a struggle the first couple rounds, they'll learn quickly, and the cooperative nature of this game will help players to teach that player and onboard them to Texas Hold'em and to poker overall. It's light and quick, it's cooperative, and doesn't try to do too much. It keeps it simple, effectively. My number 3 is Harmonies from Libellud. It's 1 to 4 players and takes 30 to 40 minutes to play. In Harmonies, players take turns drafting wooden chips representing different features of your landscape. Each draft takes 3 of those chips and places them into your personal grid, which is very small and compact. That's part of the challenge. In addition to drafting wooden pieces, players can take a card with a particular scoring condition that is a favorable terrain condition. Trees have different heights, you can build houses out of different materials, there's lots of different variations on this, and many of them can overlap and combine to be efficient with the amount of space that you have. It's a very cool abstract game concept that allows for lots of cool thinky moments, but it also is a work of art. I mean, the paintings on the animal cards are fantastic. They're colorful, they're whimsical, they're creative, and it's something that I've never seen before in a card. Incredible art, great production, and deep puzzle. My number 2 is SETI from CGE or Czech Games Edition. This is a 1 to 4 player game that takes about 2-3 hours to play. Probably more on the upper side from my experience. SETI is a real-life project designed to look for signs of life from other celestial bodies in the form of radio transmissions and optical signals. While the SETI project is yet to identify any signs of life, the board game SETI explores what would happen if we had. There are 2 distinct parts of the game. The first part is searching for life, and that involves sending satellites and probes and running supercomputers to look for signs of alien life. That alien life is represented by 2 face-down pieces with an alien species on the opposite side. These are randomly assigned at the start of the game, so you don't ever know what you're going to get. When that life is identified through trace pieces, you flip that tile over and introduce a whole new rule set to the game. This involves new scoring conditions, new cards, and new challenges that players have to overcome. Most of the time, they're good things. SETI is a Euro game that involves action selection on a razor-thin margin. You're often working with 1 or 2 resource pieces, trying to stretch their value as long as you can. Players play until they run out of things to do or decide to pass. And sometimes you're able to chain actions for turn after turn after turn through clever decision-making. It's got a very cool theme and concept, excellent production, and a sustainable rewood approach to the bits. My number 1, Slay the Spire from Contention Games. This is a 1 to 4 player cooperative game experience based on the very popular roguelike deck building game Slay the Spire. The game remains faithful to all the things that make the computer game great while expanding to make it possible as a board game. The biggest change and the most exciting one to me is the cooperative element added to it. There's some really engaging cooperative gameplay here where you rely on other players to help you out of tricky situations to prolong your run before you ultimately die at the top of the spire, just before the final boss, in a lot of cases. The game is played over 3 acts, or maybe more, and players push their luck as far as they can until they run out of steam. There are elements of the game that can be unlocked through each run that are permanent additions to the game, and each run that you play after that will involve those elements to it. Now, we've played a lot of this, and we've unlocked almost all of it, yet we still have fun playing it. We don't feel like we've maxed out our potential on this game. It is more expensive as far as board games go, and it's also really big, but it's well worth it. We've spent hours with this game, and we really love it. We look forward to playing it every single time we do, and we end up sinking quite a few hours into it whenever we get it out on the table. Now, cool parts about the game, the upgrade of the cards from the computer game remains consistent in the board game. In order to do that, all of the cards are double-sided and sleeves are provided for all of the cards. So before playing this, we were big fans of Slay the Spire already. It is an awesome experience to play it on the table, and there are plenty of reasons that I'd want to own both of them. For players that don't care much for Slay the Spire but are more board gaming oriented, I think you get a kick out of this so long as you like cooperative, campaign-esque experiences. Great production, includes sleeves for double-sided cards, and a great cooperative experience. So there you have it. That's my top 10 of 2024 so far. There's plenty I haven't played yet. I'm looking forward to doing so. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.